Greetings and konnichiwa, and welcome back to the Onyx Tavern Vlog series on Russia Sentai ToQger. Today we'll be covering Station 18 and What Do We Call You? So this is a direct follow-up from Station 17 as we are following through with what is happening to Akira. Basically, this episode talks about his continued struggles with the Shadow Line, his relation to Zet, which is brought into focus here, and really the way that the ToQger team handles trying to have him on the team. The episode actually starts quite interesting, is that they talk about what happened, and the team is really kind of split on what's going on here. First of all, Conductor and Ticket are arguing whether or not they should allow Akira to remain on the team or not, or to allow him to even be a ToQger. Ticket is basically of the mind that, hey, he was evil, he was bad, I don't trust him. Conductor is the opposite, where he's like, let's go ahead and do it, why not? And then, of course, we're split with the ToQger themselves. Right wants to embrace him, and Hikari doesn't trust him because if he was able to be with the Shadow and then defect, who says he won't ever go back and defect from the Rainbow Line? All of which are very valid points. They only kind of touch up on this in the teaser, and they don't go to a lot of depth into. A lot of it becomes what his actions are, and really what Right's actions are to protect Akira and so forth. So that's the central conflict of what's going on here. Should they take him? Should they not? Ultimately, what ends up happening in the episode is through Akira's actions and the way Right feels about the situation. The other's just like, yeah, let's go ahead and do it. Let's help him out. Let's bring him in. Because what's actually tied into the episode, and this is the very, I wouldn't call ingenious or anything, but it's very well done. So the Ring Shadow, in the episode, he will put these rings on your forehead. And if somebody says your name, it will cause you to have instant pain, an instant headache, basically. So, if somebody went ahead and put on Right, which they did, anytime somebody says his name Right, it'll cause them to have a headache and he can't function. So they put one on Akira and tried to, use his previous name, his shadow name of Zaram, or Zaram, or I'm not quite sure how you want to go ahead and pronounce it there. But when they put it on him the first time, he is so abandoned and rejected his shadow identity that it doesn't harm him, because I've given up that life, I'm moving on, so forth. And this is further emphasized by the fact that he is not being covered in rain. The rain is not following him. He is starting to move away from the shadow influence. However, Zet is able to basically look inside of his soul, if you will, and bring the darkness back out to where not only his old name hurts him, but it starts to rain again. This is all the proof Hikari needs to know that, hey, you're a bad guy, we can't go ahead and trust you. But Right is trying to do everything he can to show everybody that he is a good guy at heart, which we know he is because, well, this is Super Sentai, and of course he's good at heart. And what happens later in the episode is that in order to essentially break the spell or break the darkness hold over him, the four other ToQger provide him with a new name. That name, of course, would be Akira Nijino. Akira Nijino. And according to Ranger Wiki, the name literally means the brightness of the rainbow, which only now makes me wonder why Skittles never invested in this show. I mean, it's perfect advertisement and cross-marketing, but I digress. And so, again, this is the episode where he gets his name, he becomes Akira, and he now completely abandons his shadow lifestyle or name or whatever, and the rain disappears, and of course the headband no longer hurts him when somebody calls him by his old name, because, hey, that's not my name anymore. So what I like with it is that he's able to distance himself and show his independence by changing his name. The thing is, people will change their name or call something different, but it's the same thing. Rose by any other name. But with him is that the name is what's separating him, is what's making him distinct from the others. So the fact that his name now means, the brightness of the rainbow and all that, he can fully embrace that. Something I do want to go ahead and talk about in terms of Akira in general, and this is something that was kind of brought up in the last episode, but I want to talk a little bit more here, is that Akira really seems to have a death wish. When they give him his name, they're like, he's basically like, hey, that'll sound great on my tombstone. Which is, disconcerting for the others, but he doesn't seem to have that thing where he wants to survive and live on. Like most villains, he can't forgive himself for the things that he's done, and he wants to go out kind of in a blaze of glory is what it seems. I can't think of a contemporary character that I can compare him to give you guys a better idea of that. But let's just kind of put in perspective that he wants to go down nobly to make up for what he's done. At least that's the sense that I get. So in the terms of having a death wish, it's that heroic, today is a good day to die mantra. Whether or not he's going to fulfill that, well, we're going to see later in the series. But it's a little disconcerting with this character. And, what's bothersome about it is this is the same thing with the Six Rangers, is that no Sixth Ranger can ever just immediately join the team. They just can't do that. They have to go to a period where they're evil and fighting the Rangers, where they scoff at the Rangers, how, they're juvenile, we don't want to be part of them, their power is fluctuating, the other team won't let them, the team won't let them join. There's always a number of reasons. I just want to be able to say, hey, we're going to go ahead and join the team. And at least Kyoryuger, when they did with the Gold Ranger, it was like one episode of BS, and then he was immediately part of the team. That at least was a little bit refreshing, because let's just get these guys on the team. None of this BS. We want to see them work together. If there is a genuine conflict between them, they'll be sustained. Then I appreciate that. And I would hope that what we see from this is that Hikari was the one who basically kind of took over the situation after Wright was kidnapped and said, yeah, we're going to let you on the team. We want you over here, because it was Hikari that made the decision. Yes, I trust him. Yes, let's have him on there. So let's see Hikari have to deal with that situation later, with that choice. Whatever ramifications come upon the Akira that affect the team, that I think Hikari needs to take responsibility for. Now, I would say in this situation, Wright should take responsibility, but first of all, Wright's not the sharpest pencil in the box. Let's first establish that. And second of all, I think Hikari, it would help him with his character development. If he trusted somebody like Wright, obviously he has a little bit more reason to do so than Wright, because Wright just kind of blindly does it. But Hikari, he trusts, and maybe he's betrayed. It's, he's gratified by it. I mean, something down the line needs to pay off from him making this command decision and letting this person on the team. That's what I want to go ahead and see happen, and I hope that's something we get down the line. Not much else for the other ToQger, really. Wright didn't have much development in this episode. He confronts Zet again, but really it's not anything interesting. Again, the villains are right now the most interesting part, if you include Akira as well, as he is the most interesting ToQger at this point. But, there's no good interaction between Zet and Wright in this episode, and you would think the fact that they spent some prolonged time in this episode, about a little over half an act together, as far as, Wright being a prisoner of him. You'd think there'd be some more interesting dialogue and things to talk about. The only thing that Wright really gets out is why he just kind of straight up asks Zet, why don't you just leave the darkness? To which Zet, like most religious zealots, will go ahead and respond in violence. Not that he's a religious zealot, but I just thought that sounded cool to say. But yeah, he responded in violence to a legitimate question, which takes a little bit of sympathy away from Zet in my mind, because Zet, to me, is one of those villains where you could probably reason with him, but that, to me, doesn't seem like you could easily reason with him. Speaking of our villains, Zet is aware Schwartz is doing something. He doesn't know what, but he basically gave him a direct order to don't act on your own. Let me know what's going on, and he attacks Schwartz for that too. So something is obviously going to be happening there, I think, in terms of long term. And Zet, we get a little bit more about why he's obsessed with bright things, is that in the darkness he saw something. Some light, some beacon, something in the darkness was there. He saw it, and that's why he's now obsessed with things that sparkle and all that, and why he's fascinated by the light. What that is, I hope we find out soon, and it's something interesting that informs us of Zet. I just want to know really what it is. I don't want this to drag out the series and then suddenly it's something not that interesting, because honestly, I'm going to be honest, with a lot of Sentai series, there are a lot of anticlimactic reveals to things like that. The last time I remember watching something that was really interesting as far as a reveal was Ryo's origin in Geki Ranger. That was definitely an interesting reveal that paid off, and I just hope this pays off as well. But that's pretty much about the episode. The only other notable thing is we have a new Resha in the episode, the Drill Resha. Not much to say about it at the moment. A lot of that's kind of background. Again, we're talking about Akira, we're talking about Zet, two interesting characters in the series, and what happens next. So, with what happens next, I will see you guys again when we get to Station 19 and see where the Rainbow Line takes us. Alright, thank you for listening, have a good evening, and the tavern is now closed.